Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. I was going to do this video in the living room, but my wife has got a bunch of stuff tied up in there. I really don't have the space today to really shoot a video comfortably, at least for a couple more hours. So I thought I would give you guys a baseline of where I'm starting my cut at. Yeah, I'll take the robe off in a minute so that we can kind of see where I'm at starting out. But a couple points I wanted to clarify. Apparently my video yesterday, with me making literal statements, people made extrapolations and assumptions based upon things instead of taking what I said literally. And it really confused me that people didn't understand. People were saying, oh, there's no way you lost your love handles in 1 week with some dehydration. It takes months of burning fat. Guys, I don't think you understand the human body is 70% water. I lost 10 kilos in 1 week. I'm going to put this into scale for you. A liter of water weighs 1 kilo. So you see one of these 2-liter bottles of diet soda? If this was filled with water, I would have lost 5 of these over my entire body. Water has to come from somewhere. Water doesn't expand or compress. This is basic chemistry. Now, needless to say, I lost 4 kilos in the final 24 hours. And at least half of it came from directly under my skin in the sauna. I lost 2 kilos in the final day. Alright, that means an entire bottle of this size came out from under my skin after being already depleted. Let's keep in mind, I was also on testosterone, Arimidex, and clenbuterol the final week. So that clen will also burn through some fat. I was in a fairly large calorie deficit. I was doing an hour of fasted cardio every day, even though I wasn't training the final few days. And I even did an hour of fasted cardio during the 36-hour fast. So I did an hour of cardio while only eating 2,000 calories on the final day. And then I did a 36-hour fast with an hour of cardio. And then I got in the sauna after all of it. So yeah, I was sucked up. My skin was tight. I had no loose skin. My love handles had shrunk down to where you could probably barely pinch them. And I'm not saying I looked good. I didn't say that I burned off the fat on my love handles. They came back within, I would say, 5 or 6 hours. My wife had said, yeah, they're definitely back. They're not as big, but they're definitely filling back out as soon as I got fluid in me. So I'm not sure where people misunderstood that, and they don't seem to understand that losing a couple of liters of water from directly under your skin isn't going to suck everything up. Even bodybuilders know this. Anyone who's competed in bodybuilding knows that. And like I said, I didn't say that I looked good. I said I looked skinny and depleted. And I did look skinny. I lost 5 of these from my body. That is a lot of water, and most of that through the skin there at that final point. So I looked very sucked up. Now, some other people are saying Jason doesn't know how to lose fat. And I think people forget that they didn't watch me when I first started doing YouTube. People don't realize it. When I started training again, when I got to the 9-month mark, I did a transformation challenge online, and near the end of that transformation challenge, I started documenting it. And that is when the Old Ice Cream Fitness channel started. That's when I started doing this stuff. And I dropped 34 pounds in 12 weeks for that contest with before and after pictures. And I'll run you guys through the clips real quick. Now, needless to say, I'm not super ripped at the end there. I'm about 15% body fat at the end of that cut, which I think is reasonable. About 15% isn't a bad baseline for, say, a power lifter to work with. And I'm not a bodybuilder. I don't need to go much lower than about 15%. I would say the leanest I probably ever need to get in my powerlifting is maybe 12%. Unless I want to try to pull a Jamie Lewis or something, or a Dan Green, which is just not going to happen. I don't have the genetics to compete with those guys. Let's be honest here. I clearly do know how to lose fat. That was 12 weeks, and I only did cardio the final 4 weeks. And I do approximately 4 times the cardio right now that I did in the final part of that cut. And the first 8 weeks of that, I did 0 cardio. In fact, I lost the first 20 pounds in 8 weeks on 0 cardio, just purely through diet and basic flexible dieting, allowing myself a little bit of pizza, a little bit of ice cream in moderation, and just caloric restriction and training and lifting weights. So I do know how to lose weight. It's called you eat a calorie deficit and fill yourself up on veggies, water, and diet soda. That's all cutting is. And I didn't lose any muscle doing that. And I'm certainly not going to lose any muscle doing this. I'll lose a bit of strength, but as I'm going to give myself about 12 weeks to clean bulk back up, I will regain all the strength and then some. It shouldn't be an issue if I do this correctly, and I'm going to do this right this time for this coming meet. So let's go ahead and get my baseline established. I'll get my robe off and you guys can see where I'm at 105 kilos. So I'm up 6 kilos from my weigh-in, and I'm pretty well as refilled out as I'm going to get. I'm clearly a little leaner than I was a couple weeks ago due to that heavy week. I mean, all that fasted cardio, lower calories, and clenbuterol actually took a little bit of fat off of me in 1 week. Not a lot, but it's a noticeable amount. You know, obviously my love handles are back because I'm up 6 kilos, which means 3 bottles like that of extra water have been returned. So you guys, my back, again, still have lower back fat, but obviously I'm holding a lot less fat than I was when I did that other shirtless video a couple weeks ago talking about being comfortable with yourself. And again, the love handles take the longest for me to burn off. They may not actually burn off at the end of this cut. So my goal is, starting at this baseline, we're at 105. I'm going to drop down to 95 kilos. So I need to lose about 10 kilos of fat. And then I will go into a small 10% calorie surplus, and I will go up to about 101, maybe 102 for nationals, so that I can cut carbs for 1 day, 1 trip in the sauna instead of 4, and not a full week of low carbs, so that I can do a very mild water drop and make weight. And I won't even drop to 99, I'll probably drop to like 99.9 out of the sauna, and then just go weigh in after that. I just need to be slightly under. So that will be the game plan. There won't be anything dramatic this next time. I will let this cut right now, while I'm already started cutting, be my dramatic cut. And we'll use that to get way underweight so that I can actually train hard and make massive strength gains during my prep. And yes, for those who keep asking, that massive strength gains with a small calorie surplus will include upping the dose. Because I'm not going to bullshit you guys and tell you that I'm not going to use a fairly decent amount of tests for that. Because that's not what I'm about. I'm not about lying to you guys and bullshitting you with this stuff. Let's just be honest here. We need a lot more of that in this industry. So this is where I'm at to start. Here, I'll give you guys a most muscular. Everybody seems to want these for some reason. I don't know why, when I had it shirtless last time. You know, I'm not a bodybuilder and I'm not anybody's definition of aesthetic. So here we go. This is my starting point at the cut, 105 kilos. We'll try to drop at least 1 kilo a week and take it from there. Alright guys, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.